everybody, this is Eric Warren. Welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I am here in Dallas, Texas with my good friend, Lisa Grossmann. We haven't seen each other for a long time, but we've known each other for how long now? I mean, when was it?
20 years.
20 years ago? Back when you were just a baby.
Oh, he's so sweet.
And I was just a baby, and we were just getting started in the network marketing profession. I think we both got started the same year.
Same year, same company.
But Lisa has made over $1 million a year in our profession, does incredibly well. One of these powerhouse women, I mean, because when you take a look at the Direct Selling Association statistics, women dominate when it comes to you know, the involvement inside of our profession.
They do, but in this country, 75% of the volume is done by the women, but not 75% of the top checks. But we're working on that.
Why is that, do you think?
You know, overseas that's not the case, but this is America. It's still a little bit of a good old boys club, but we're coming.
Are you coming? Okay.
We're coming.
All right, fair enough. Good. Well, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. She's got a very colorful kind of 20 years of very interesting stories, lots of good lessons to learn, and I think you're going to enjoy this process. We were chatting for the last hour prior to turning this camera on, and you know, maybe we should have just turned the camera on while we were chatting for the last hour, but anyway, let's go back to the very beginning.
Okay.
I like the thought process, because a lot of these people, the people who are watching here, they want to become professionals inside of network marketing. They want to learn this, do it well, and that's why I like to have the people who've made $1 million a year on the show, because there's no posers there. There's nobody pretending. You know, if you've made $1 million a year in network marketing, you know your stuff. You didn't get lucky, or there wasn't just a one-hit wonder. You really got to know your stuff. So for everybody has a beginning. Some of the people watching the show are just getting involved or just starting to build their careers. Everybody has a beginning. Tell us about your beginning. When did you first get exposed to this profession? What was your thought process? How did it all happen?
1989, my aunt called, and she was so excited she had something to show me. She came over, she hooked up a piece of plastic to my sink and proceeded to explain to me that this was going to change life as we all knew it and make her rich.
And it was a water filter.
It was a water filter. And she asked me if I would use it for a week and let her know, and it was going to make the water taste better. My cats were going to love it. Everybody's going to love the water. And we did. And I needed to watch it on a videotape. And I have to tell you, the videotape was exciting. The water tasted better. And I was so lost as to how that water filter was going to turn into all this money. And I bought it from her, and I said, how much did you make? And she said, $79. And I'm like, you're going to have to sell an awful lot of these, aren't you, to make all that money? And she said, you'll come to the meeting. And I was not excited about that.
And before you get to the meeting part, did the videotape, I think I saw the same videotape you saw.
Yes.
The opening music was da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And
the
water
limousines
everywhere.
were coming in and doing all this stuff, and everybody was making a ridiculous amount of money.
And that was back when they could tell you all the ridiculous money everybody was making.
They were putting all these claims out there, incredible, over-the-top amounts of income from average people. I saw the same thing you did. And the video tape back then was duplicated like 10 times.
Yes,
so it was all grainy, and I was like, come on. I mean,
pretty much.
It didn't seem real to me.
Not at all. I mean, did you believe it?
I did not believe it. I was highly skeptical. But then the people who were asked me to look at it told me they were going to do it with or without me, and then I eventually decided to get involved and change my life for the better. But so they invited you to a meeting.
Oh yeah, and I went to the meeting, and it was at the Richardson Civic Center, and I was dreading it.
Here in Dallas.
Here in Dallas.
Okay.
But it was my aunt, and trust me, anybody with a relative that I liked, because there are relatives I don't like, but her I happen to love, I would have avoided it. And I didn't want to go, because I thought, what if somebody sees me there? Network marketing was not really accepted back then like it is now. But I was kind of comforted by the fact that if I saw them, they would see me. So, maybe nobody would talk about it.
Right.
I got there, and I was just sitting through this thing, and I was like this, and I was looking at the floor, and when is this going to be over? And at the end, they said, is anybody who's making money, stand in line and come tell your story? And they were just lined up, because there were like 500 people at this meeting. And one story after another with the checks and the income. And when it was over, I called my husband, and I said, Steve, it is the goofiest thing I have ever seen. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they have people here, they are uglier than us, they are dumber than us, they are making more money than us, and they travel and they're having fun, and we need to do this. And I hung up. Because I thought I lost my mind, and by the time I thought maybe I'm not so crazy, I went home, and he assured me that yes, I was indeed that crazy. Yes, but we did it anyway.
So when you got involved, I mean, a lot of people, when they first get involved in network marketing, they get involved because it's like a lottery ticket, kind of. You know, they're hoping to get lucky. They're hoping to get timing and positioning. They're hoping that maybe if they bring in a couple neighbors or friends, and they could sit back and be on easy street. As you know, it doesn't end up that way. I mean, it might start that way. I mean, you join because you see these other people making money, but then eventually you have to become a professional. You have to learn some skills. You have to become talented. But here's my question to you. When you first started, what were the lessons that you learned in maybe the first 90 days? I mean, what was that experience like, and what were the lessons that you learned?
Well, the first thing I did was I got my product. And I did, you know, what was done with me. I ran out and I hooked up all my water filters to people that I knew, and I sold them all. Which is good. You should always go out and move the product. But I moved all my product. I had all my $79 profits. Now I was out of product. I had no group and no $1 million yet. And I'm like, what do I do now? And I was totally lost. So then I thought, well, I have to recruit other people to do the same thing. So I went and recruited all these people who did not go out and move all the
So how many people did you recruit?
I hadn't recruited any yet.
Let's say the first 90 days, did you recruit?
Oh, yeah, then I went to recruit.
How about how many?
Like 50.
50?
Yeah.
How did you recruit 50 people?
That was my problem. Eminently unduplicatable.
So you recruited a bunch of people, then they didn't do anything?
Not at all.
First of all, everybody watching this program would love to recruit 50 people and then figure out the second problem.
You think that, but not necessarily.
Okay, so how did that...
Because that brought a whole host of problems. I recruited all the wrong people.
Was that back in the cold market days? You're running ads?
No, they were all people that I knew.
Wow.
So now I have 50 people that I knew with $5,000
in
in water
20 years
filters.
old?
Oh, you're so sweet. No, 27. Which now you know how old I am, audience.
Sorry.
But my birthday's up on Facebook, so that's okay.
I didn't mean to get all the way there. But so you're in your mid-20s, and you're able to recruit 50 people? How?
Well, I had a good story, and then I had actually sold all my product.
Because you sold your product.
So I had 50 times $79. Actually, I think I made 120 because you came in at $5, whatever.
So you made a little bit more money. You made some money.
The problem was, now I have 50 people, all who had $5,000 for the product, none of them sold any, and I knew them all. So now they're all mad at me. So there is that problem. So don't recruit people unless they want to go to work. That was my first lesson.
So you threw them in, you basically sold 50 lottery tickets. They didn't come in for those people. And now you're like,
I didn't realize I sold 50 lottery tickets, but they were under the impression that somehow by getting in, great things were going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was used to going to work. I never expected great things to happen if you didn't go do the work.
Right.
They somehow did. So now I felt guilty and obligated.
A lot of people set people up with, innocently enough,
And it was
with
back
false
then.
expectations. And then when those expectations don't live up to, the promise of it, then, now you got some fallout to deal with.
Yeah, so now I had that. So then, I tried to help all those people sell all their product, and that was a nightmare. And I was like, said, okay, obviously I've done something wrong. So I did what I should have done in the first place. I went to get help. But my aunt at this point had already quit, which is the first lesson of network marketing. When you get involved, be very grateful that the person who introduced you to it showed you something with which you can change your life.
Right.
And if that's all they ever do, which often is all they will ever do, be grateful for that and go look for the person who's going to help you after they're gone, which could be 5 minutes after they introduced you to it.
Right. And I did a show a little while back called Say Goodbye to Your Upline.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to say thanks for introducing me. They're not responsible for your success or failure.
But, luckily I was here in Dallas.
Yeah, okay.
And
so
we had a lot of talent here in Dallas with that company.
People, right.
And I went and I met them all. And what I've learned, and this is a neat thing, and successful people, they are really anxious. Once they know they've made it, and once they've made a lot of money, you know what they love? They love to pass it on.
Yeah.
So if you'll find them when they're not busy, and you'll sit down and you'll
They're
ask questions and listen, they will absolutely teach you. And
well,
I was a sponge.
They won't do it for you.
But they will teach you. And I was a sponge. And I got great mentors, a ton of them, still friends today.
So chapter 1, you bring a bunch of people in. And
chapter 2, start over.
And chapter 2, start over.
Get a new list.
Right, so you got a new list, and then chapter 2, you started over. What did you do different in chapter 2?
Instead of trying to recruit 50, which is impossible to work with, I went looking for 5 I could turn into 5,000.
Okay, so you bring in 5 and then help them, and then bring in another 5 and then help them?
Pretty much. That was my goal, was to find 5 who were willing to go to work. And I went through probably 15 or 20 the second time around to find 5 that would go to work. But once you find one that's willing to go to work, I didn't worry about, I need 5. If I had one that was regular, I ran with that person, and I was more worried about them getting 5 than me getting 5.
Right.
Because once you chase the fire.
Right.
And once then I would go find another and another and another, and eventually that worked out real well. And I think within about 90 days when I started Chapter 2, I was a 5th dimension.
Yep.
I was a 5th dimension, and then it was
Starfleet Commander.
Yeah.
So yes, so you did that in your first year?
I did that in my first 120 days, but then you had to wait 6 months till it qualified.
I'm so irritated with you. I mean,
Oh,
that took
sorry.
me so long to get to that same spot at that level, but you were a little older than me.
Oh yeah, well, there you go. I was long.
So, but man, that's very impressive.
I was in Dallas.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Look at the meetings we had.
The
We had 30 NMDs in Dallas. to put people in
Geography
front
doesn't
of.
matter, but there was some leadership here. You could kind of draft off that.
I put everybody in front of them,
Okay, so
which was lesson 3. Don't
Yeah.
become the issue. I
lesson-
was the
well,
issue
lesson
in
3.
Chapter 1.
Okay, you were the issue in Chapter 1. In Chapter 2,
I wasn't the issue. I put them in front of all those NMDs.
Yeah, you put them in front of other leaders within the organization. You got people involved in third party, whether it was an event or a conference call, or
Yeah.
had them look at videotapes. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be the issue. I should have learned that first, but I didn't. I was the issue, and I wasn't duplicable. And people made it. It was my responsibility, not theirs. And I stopped being the issue.
Okay, so you learned fast, because most people would repeat the lessons of phase 1, like I did, 6 or 7 times.
Well, no,
you build a group, kill the group. 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 Then you go, maybe this is wrong. Maybe I should not kill the group. Maybe there's a better way. And then you go talk to somebody who does it right, and then you learn how to build a group and help the group continue to grow. That's a different, I mean, you learned so fast. It's, like I say, that is highly uncommon.
I had a secret weapon, though.
What?
Well, I'm a girl, and a lot of the NMDs were guys, and when you show up crying because all your friends are calling, screaming at you because you sailed the $5,000
You use the sympathy card?
filters, I used the sympathy card to get help. Yes, I did.
I like it. But whether it's a sympathy card or if you just go with humility to the leadership within your organization, and you're highly teachable and coachable, you're going to get help.
Always.
If you're
Always.
looking for it, you'll get it. Now, if you go to your upline complaining, or if you go to the leadership within your organization and be blaming everybody else for your problems, you're not going to get a lot of help. But if you come with humility and coachability, and you're a student, the teacher will appear for sure.
Well, I think the first thing that I noticed about the business once I got involved in it and engaged in it, if everybody has the same company, the same product, the same comp plan, the same opportunity, if something isn't working, you have to accept right off the bat that while it's not your fault, it is your challenge to fix.
Right.
Because if they can do it, you can do it. You just have to find out what it is you're not doing to make it work as quickly and as seamlessly as it can.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. Is like I can learn. They're doing it. They're not smarter than me. The only thing they have on me is time and experience. I've got time. They'll help me with their experience.